Hart is still lounging in his wooden house with Char and Flay. Then he suddenly remembers that he needs to find a butler to accompany him to school. Char and Flay are puzzled as they witness Hart suddenly shouting "Butler." Hart offers the excuse that he wants to take a walk. School is still 3 months away, but Hart has yet to find a suitable candidate. While walking through the forest, Hart recalls a path leading to a certain place. As he follows it, he comes across a village inhabited by many living skeletons. The skeletons notice Hart's arrival and immediately gather to kneel before him, addressing him as their lord. Hart remembers that these skeletons are creatures summoned by the Summoning Corps, which he defeated 5 years ago. For some reason, they have been following Hart ever since. Finally, Hart grants them land, and they decide to settle here and establish a civilization. One skeleton wearing a green robe emerges as their leader, named Johnny. By the way, Hart is curious about one thing in this: they each live in their respective territories and obey Johnny's orders. Upon reflection, Hart doesn't recall the village being this extensive. However, he doesn't mind if the monsters want to live prosperously here. While Hart is here, Johnny wants to show him around the other areas. Hart is taken to the place where they grow food crops. Over the course of a year, they adjust their crops according to the seasons and process what can be stored for an extended period. However, Hart is certain that the skeletons can't consume these food items. So it seems like all these crops are for the monsters. Afterward, Johnny continues to explain various things happening in the village. Hart enjoys observing Johnny's gentle personality and attentiveness. Other creatures are obedient to him, and he remains loyal to Hart. Johnny also carries himself with politeness. If his body had flesh and skin, he might appear like an ordinary human. In fact, Hart considers Johnny as a potential ideal butler he's been searching for. Unfortunately, Johnny can be quite talkative. Once he starts talking, he won't stop. Hart feels he wouldn't be able to handle hearing his chatter every day. Nonetheless, he genuinely cares about Johnny. Johnny notices that Hart's expression seems a bit downcast and asks if there's something he doesn't like. However, Hart avoids the question by praising Johnny. Afterward, Johnny wanted to take Hart to another place. However, Hart said he had some business to attend to, so he couldn't go just yet. The day had turned late, and Hart felt tired from the tour with Johnny. This forest was supposed to be his place of solitude, but now it had become a residence for monsters. Suddenly, Hart felt a strong jolt from behind. The sound came from a one-eyed golem also summoned by the Summoning Corps. Her name was Jigen. Jigen sat down next to Hart in contemplation. Suddenly, Jigen handed a flower to Hart. Hart was surprised to hear Jigen's voice, which turned out to be that of a girl. Despite her appearance, her personality was rather quiet. She didn't cause any trouble, making her suitable to be a servant. The issue was her massive size. If he recalled correctly, Jigen always seemed to be alone. Hart then asked if Jigen was bored in the village. With a hint of shyness, Jigen replied that she liked it. However, what Jigen meant was that she liked Hart. Lisa could still use its wings in human form, so it had no trouble keeping up with Hart. Meanwhile, Flay had to run as fast as she could to follow Hart from below.